be sure that women are used as effectively as they can, in addition to meeting their primary responsibility, which is in the home, as the mother and the housewife.
At a time when women only constitutes about 33% of the American workforce, not to mention that they are encouraged to take sciences only to teach rising male scholars, one woman rose up and became a glaring example of female potential. This is Dr. Frances Odom Kelsey, a revolutionary woman in a man's world.
What Dr. Kelsey did was just amazing.
At a time when girls were dissuaded from entering higher education, let alone pursue STEM, Dr. Frances Odom Kelsey graduated McGill University with a bachelor's degree in science, and then, in only 1 year, achieved a master's degree, and in February 1936, Frances Kelsey became the first woman to be accepted into Chicago University's PhD program.
She is revolutionary in breaking gender norms. However, Chicago wasn't expecting a woman.
For an acceptance letter, the address to her was Mr. Odom. It is only because of her masculine name that Dr. Frances Kelsey was able to earn a PhD opportunity. Men were the trusted preference. This entrenching patriarchy in STEM fields was furthermore marked in Kelsey's memoir, as she recalls. To this day, I do not know if my name had been Elizabeth or Mary Jane, whether I would have gotten that big first step up. Receiving her PhD in 1938, Dr. Kelsey went on to teach in the university and in various scientific associations for 22 years. It is at this time that she came into contact with pharmaceutical drugs and participated in changing their respective regulations under supervision. Although FDA's 1938 renovated Food and Drug Law, which Kelsey participated in advocating, did minimize high-profile pharmaceutical drug disasters, it was challenged 2 decades later by a parallel yet much more nuanced false god, and this time Dr. Frances Kelsey would be the main player of this crisis.
Before thalidomide was introduced into the European and later American market, it was discovered and discarded by Ciba, a Swiss pharmaceutical company, in 1953 as it proved to be a failed agent for an anti-convulsing sedative. Yet, in 1957, thalidomide was picked back up by the West Germany company when they found that thalidomide acted as a miracle sleeping drug with, surprisingly, little to no side effects to babies, children, and even pregnant women with no maximum dosage.
As the doctors call it, that was the answer to a prayer.
It was sold in Germany starting October 1957 under the name Countergan, and it became popular among pregnant women with morning sickness. Comparable to aspirin, 300 million tablets of thalidomide were sold around Europe in total, generating revenues of around 25 million Dutch mark. Though it was noted that a disproportionate percentage of babies had started to arrive with missing ears, arms, and legs in Germany, no connection was drawn to thalidomide. When it reached DC's Food and Drug Administration in 1961, wrapped in the name of Cavadon by respected American drug company William S. Merrill, Frances Kelsey was only 1 month in at her job in administration. Though she didn't know it then, the fate of thousands of families depended on that decision.
Thalidomide, I got this because I was new and they thought I should have an easy one to start on.
What could possibly go wrong with a drug that is widely popular and virtually has no side effects? Yet, Frances Kelsey and her team did not overlook the application.
But here's the catch. No matter how big the application, the FDA team had only 60 days to respond.
Otherwise, it automatically got put on the market. And you can see the problems with that, right?
Dr. Kelsey was in charge of the clinical evidence area.
Dr. Kelsey had a weird feeling like the way the drug manufacturers is trying to present this medicine as never having any major side effects, or you could never die from this medicine or something like that. That's just not possible to claim.
Kelsey's doubts were right. Around the same time in 1960, as Merrill submitted a Cavadon application, a letter to the editor by Dr. Leslie Florence was published under a British medical journal, reporting on nerve inflammation associated with long-term use of thalidomide. This caught Kelsey's attention, and she returned the application for more evidence. The effect of nerve inflammation led Kelsey and her team to question the effect of thalidomide on pregnant women and their children. Despite the company's efforts to gaslight Kelsey and her team, they pressed Merrill to include a label excluding pregnant women from the potential consumers of Cavadon. Growing more irritated due to the potential profit loss, Merrill directed conferences, meetings, and phone calls to badger Kelsey and her team. It has been said, I was told by them, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Not only should you not be doing this job, but you can't even be in, the kitchen like every other woman, right?
Facing these overwhelming pressure and humiliation, Kelsey did not budge. Meanwhile, as a reaction to thalidomide, newspapers in Germany and many other European countries started to flood. The truth was finally brutally revealed. In Great Britain, more than 2,000 children were born deformed due to the mother's consumption of thalidomide, and in West Germany, the number reached 6,000. The defect includes shortened or absent ears, missing or extra limbs, bone hyperplasticity, and a variety of internal organ defects. On November 1961, West German company withdrew Countergan from the Germany market, and on March 8, 1962, Merrill finally submitted to the official withdrawal request. However, the story did not end here. Knowing that samples were given out prior to any FDA decisions, Kelsey and her team quickly found that prior to approval, Merrill has given more than 2.5 million tablets of Cavadon to more than 1,200 physicians. It was later revealed that this distribution damaged more than 207 U.S. patients.
Thalidomide is now banned everywhere.
We now ban thalidomide.
In a Senate conference on August 6 of 1962, Kelsey testified beside Estes Kefauver, a Democrat senator of Tennessee, pressing the need of tighter restrictions on drug regulations and specified for the need for a change in the law that now clears new drugs for sale automatically within 60 days unless the government registers disapproval. Kelsey's endeavor resulted in a catered change by President Kennedy, who observed and proposed the total elimination of the 60 days time limit. FDA would have more control over the regulation and approval of new drugs, readily shifting the sponsor-examiner power dynamics for the first time in the history of American drug regulation. On October 10, 1962, President Kennedy signed the Kefauver-Harris Amendment into law.
It was huge, right? It created a new process. Now, the FDA, when it looks at safety for reproduction, they put out blasts to all the doctors to say, have you taken care of someone who has been exposed to this medication? And then they also then look at what are the clinical trials, right? Are there data early on in terms of people who happen to be pregnant in the early trials? That is why currently new drugs take millions of dollars to get on the market.
On August 7th of 1962, Frances Kelsey was awarded the President's Award for Distinguished Federal Civilian Service for her actions to prevent thalidomide into the American drug market. She is the second woman ever in American history to receive this honor. Dr. Frances Kelsey proved that women can be protectors of women as well. On the one hand, Kelsey's delay for the marketing of thalidomide saved many potential life losses.
17, I think, affected versus thousands of affected babies. That's enormous.
And inspired major components of the Kefauver-Harris Amendment. On the other hand, she's a silent paver of women's rights. She, as a woman living in the patriarchal 1960s, showcased to the public the female potential to influence major governmental decisions and equate men in male-dominated situations.